Imagine standing amidst a serene landscape as the Buddha addresses his circle of disciples. He speaks, "Consider the tongue a double-edged sword. It can speak words of kindness that uplift the spirits, or it can wield words of harm that strike at the heart with the precision of the sharpest blade. The tongue, in its silence, holds a power greater than any weapon, for it is in the quietude that wisdom takes root and blossoms." He pauses, allowing the weight of his words to settle like falling leaves, and continues, "In the realm of Zen, we learn that silence is not a void to be filled, but a realm to be explored. It is within this realm that we encounter the core of our being. As you sit in stillness, as you embrace the hush of the world, you will find the path to true understanding." In the golden glow of the setting sun, the Buddha began another tale, one of a king whose heart was as turbulent as his kingdom was prosperous. This king, feared by his enemies and adored by his subjects, found himself besieged by a disquieting restlessness. Despite his immense wealth and power, a sense of profound dissatisfaction gnawed at him. In a quest for solace, he sought the counsel of a renowned monk who lived in a secluded mountain temple. Upon reaching the temple, the king presented himself before the monk, his countenance a mix of desperation and hope. "Venerable one," he implored, "I have conquered lands and amassed wealth beyond measure. Yet, within me, there is no peace to be found. How can I rule my kingdom when I cannot govern my own spirit?" The monk regarded the king with eyes that reflected a deep, unmoving calm. "Great king," he replied, "lay down your crown and sit with me in silence, for it is in silence that the greatest lessons are learned." For a day and a night, the king sat with the monk in utter stillness, the silence around them growing so profound that even the king's inner turmoil began to quiet. As the first light of dawn touched the peaks, the monk spoke, "Your Highness, you have sought peace through control, but true peace can only be found when you surrender to silence. Just as the quiet of the night brings rest and renewal, so too does the stillness within nurture wisdom." The king, moved by the experience, returned to his kingdom with a transformed gaze. He implemented a daily hour of silence throughout his land, during which no one would speak, and even the marketplace would come to a rest. This hour became the most sacred time, a time when people reflected, contemplated, and connected deeply with the life within and around them. Years passed, and the kingdom flourished not only in wealth, but in wisdom and happiness. The king, once a ruler of lands, had become a true leader of hearts, guiding his people not through the force of his voice, but through the eloquence of his silence. The Buddha concluded, "And so, the king discovered that the most powerful throne is the seat of inner stillness. From this throne one can lead a life of true harmony and joy." The Buddha then turned to the tangible benefits of silence, a practice often overlooked in a world brimming with incessant sound. "Consider the silence of the forest," he began. "It is not merely a lack of noise, but a living canvas upon which the strokes of life are painted. In such silence one finds clarity. The mind, like a still pond, offers a reflection untarnished by the ripples of constant thought." He continued, "In silence, we are given the space to observe our own thoughts, to understand them without the rush to speak them. It is in this quietude that the mind can recover from the relentless pace of life and rejuvenate." Furthermore, the sage added, "Silence nurtures a profound connection with the present moment. It allows us to listen, to truly listen, not only to the world around us, but to our innermost selves. In the quiet, the whispers of the heart grow louder and the guidance of intuition becomes clear." The Buddha then spoke of the body. "Silence also brings rest to the weary. In the calm, the body can ease the tensions that words and worries often weave. It is a sanctuary where the physical and spiritual can mend and merge. To sit in silence is to resist the urge to speak out of turn, to lash out in anger, or to utter words that one might regret. It teaches patience and offers the grace of introspection. In this way, silence is not passive but a powerful act of self-awareness and control. He closed his eyes as if to demonstrate the serenity he described, and after a moment concluded, "And so, my disciples, embrace the gift of silence. For in its depths, you will discover the wisdom to speak when words are necessary, and the strength to remain silent when they are not. This balance is the key to a harmonious life." The Buddha then shifted from philosophy to practice, offering his disciples a method to experience the benefits of silence directly. "Let us engage in a simple exercise, a practice to invite silence into our hearts," he instructed. "Begin by finding a comfortable seat, a place where you can remain undisturbed for a few moments. Close your eyes and let your hands rest gently on your lap." He guided them further. "Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, release all the tensions you carry. With each breath, allow yourself to sink deeper into the embrace of stillness. As you sit in quietude, observe the thoughts that arise. Do not chase them or push them away. Simply watch them as they float by like leaves on a river. If you find yourself getting swept away by the current of your thoughts, return to the anchor of your breath." The Buddha then introduced a layer of reflection. Now in the silence, ask yourself a question. What is the nature of the mind when it is not obscured by speech? What insights arise when we are not compelled to immediately voice our thoughts? He continued, "Maintain this silence, this watchful observation for a few minutes. Let the experience unfold naturally, without expectation. The practice is not to empty the mind, but to become aware of its nature in silence." After a period of practice, he slowly brought them out of meditation. "Gently bring your awareness back to the room. Notice how you feel, perhaps a sense of calm, a clarity, or a newfound energy. This is the power of silence, a resource that is always available to you." The Buddha concluded, "Incorporate this practice into your daily life. Even a few moments of silence each day can have a profound impact on your well-being and understanding. It is a sanctuary of peace that you can carry within you amidst the noise of the world." Through this exercise, the disciples learned not only the theory behind the value of silence, but also a practical tool to harness its power in their everyday lives. The Buddha, having led his disciples through the teachings and practices of silence, now invited them to turn their gaze inward. "Reflect upon this," he prompted. "How does silence manifest in your life? When do you feel the need to speak, and when do you find power in silence? Consider the moments when silence could be your teacher and when words are the vessels of your wisdom." He encouraged his disciples to carry these reflections with them. As you go forth, observe the interplay of speech and silence in your interactions. Notice the effects of each on your mind and on those around you. Let your experiences be your guide. Take a moment to ponder the role of silence in your life. Is it something you embrace, or do you find it uncomfortable? What can you learn from the stillness? How can silence guide you on your path to self-discovery and inner peace? I encourage you to share your reflections on the power of silence in the comments below. Your insights and stories can be a source of inspiration and learning for all of us. And if you found value in this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support means we can explore more aspects of Zen and embark on further journeys together. Remember, the path of Zen is rich with silence, and it is within this quietude that we often find the loudest truth. So let's take this step together, exploring the depths of silence and the peace it can bring to our lives. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for sharing this moment of stillness with me.